The truth about Ukraine is starting to come out. We're going to look at just how outrageous the $40 billion aid bill for Ukraine actually is. We're going to see how ultra-MAGA America First representatives are standing up against it. And stick with me at the very end of this video when I'll reveal how the truth about what's really happening in Ukraine is starting to make its way into the mainstream, and it completely demolishes any justification for that outrageous bill. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, I am your daily fake news antidote. So come on in, your Patriot Professor's Den. We're helping to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent and rather expensive times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we begin, gang, if you've got an IRA, 401k, or savings account, things really are getting scary out there, to say the least. The Biden administration has already printed more money in the past 2 years than the previous 100 years combined. Think about that. The national debt just hit a record high at $30 trillion, and inflation is the highest we've seen since 1982. Obviously, it's only a matter of time before the economic house of cards comes crashing down, as it were. And if you've got retirement savings, your money could be at serious risk. But there is hope. Talk to my friends at Goldco to find out how you can protect your retirement with gold and silver before it's too late. And you're going to, wait till you hear this. You're going to love this. You ready? Click on that link below right now, or just go to my special website, turleytalkslikesgold.com. And they are going to give you, get this, they're going to give you up to $10,000 in free silver when you open an account. They ain't kidding around. $10K in free silver. But this is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Click on that link below or go to turleytalkslikesgold.com, and I most certainly do. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. As I'm sure you know, our U.S. Congress just voted overwhelmingly to send $40 billion to Ukraine. That's right, $40 billion with a B. Now, to put that in perspective, if we add that to the $14 billion that we already sent over to what is without question the single most corrupt nation in Europe, we're now spending more money on Ukraine than on what we spent on a yearly basis on our war in Afghanistan. Let that hit you. We've just spent more in Ukraine than we did on average yearly basis on a war with a nation that housed an organization that attacked us. Every single Democrat, everyone voted for the bill, as did most Republicans. The only exceptions were 57 ultra-MAGA America First Republicans. God bless every single one of them. But they were the minority of Republicans. Instead, here's some of our so-called champions in the Republican Party. Here's what they had to say about their support of this bill. The obviously rather thin-skinned Representative Dan Crenshaw of Texas defended his vote in favor of the bill with his rather snarky tweet. Well, yeah, because investing in the destruction of our adversary's military without losing a single American troop strikes me as a good idea. You should feel the same. Yeah. You see, you're the problem, not the thin-skinned narcissist like Dan Crenshaw. No, you should feel the same way I do. And if you don't, you have issues. Never mind that my tweet basically declared war on Russia. I mean, can you imagine Dan Crenshaw's reaction if a major Russian politician announced that the bill he was supporting was deliberately designated to destroy the United States military? I mean, that's war talk. When did we go to war with Russia, Representative Crenshaw? When did that happen? When was it even debated? Election Wizard, I think, said it best. Some days I'm not sure who I loathe more, Dan Crenshaw or Nancy Pelosi. Both are equally insufferable, and both use left-wing tactics to smear the right. In that same vein, Mark Levin continues to show how he and Lindsey Graham are increasingly unidentifiable from one another, tweeting out, quote, "For the Putin ass kickers out there who say, why don't we focus on the baby formula crisis rather than Ukraine? Well, the baby formula problem predates the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And it's not about federal funding, but government incompetence. Damn fools." As if federal funding weren't indicative of government incompetence. That's exactly what we saw the other night. But never mind that. Don't you know the two don't have anything to do with each other? You damn fool. And again, notice the pattern here. You are the problem, aren't you? If you express your concern about the fact that we're spending more money on Ukraine than we did on a yearly basis in Afghanistan, especially when we're facing a baby formula crisis and record inflation here at home, if you express that concern, well, you are kissing Vladimir Putin's ass. Not to mention that you're a damn fool who can't make basic category distinctions. We need to underscore this fact, gang. This is not Nancy Pelosi talking here. This is not Chuck Schumer. This is Mark Levin. I mean, let that hit you. Do you sense a pattern here? Tucker Carlson does. He said, quote, "I can't think of a bigger middle finger to Republican voters than what happened last night," referring, of course, to the vast majority of Republicans voting for the $40 billion bill. And to my only response to that is wait for the comparably large middle finger coming from Republicans in the Senate, either today or tomorrow, coming to you with love from Mitch McConnell. Regardless, despite this pathetically inept understanding of the world demonstrated by our so-called Republican leadership, feckless as they are, the truth about Ukraine is starting to come out. The truth about what's actually happening here is starting to go mainstream, I'm thankful to say. And I think the more the truth about what's really happening, the more that makes its way to more people, the more we're going to see opposition towards massive spending bills like this grow exponentially. So what do I mean about the truth in Ukraine? Well, in a nutshell, as you know, the narrative that we've been fed 24/7 is that the Ukrainian military is mounting a valiant resistance against Putin and Russia, and they are indeed winning. And in many respects, they've already won. Russia has already lost this. No matter what Putin tries to pull, Russia is the big loser in all of this. And you see, this is all over the legacy media and social media. I mean, there are channels on YouTube dedicated to posting video after video supposedly showing another Russian tank destroyed, another Russian MiG shot down, another Russian army defeat, and on and on and on. And this is precisely the kind of narrative that's used to justify the U.S. and NATO to get more and more involved in this war, because the adversary looks so ridiculously defeated and weak. We actually had an Idaho Republican senator say exactly that. Fox News ran the recent headline, U.S. senators dismiss World War III worries, say U.S. forces would dominate Russian troops. Oh, really? You mean just like we dominated the Taliban? But this is the way Republicans are actually talking. Jim Risch of Idaho literally said in an interview that he believes that Russia has demonstrated the most pathetic ineptness in this war with Ukraine, and that he believes we'll have no problem mopping the floor with the Russian military. And he thinks that because he's reading the New York Times. Mopping the floor with the single biggest nuclear power on the planet. A nuclear power that has promised that they would indeed launch tactical nuclear weapons against the United States were we to do anything even remotely like this absurd senator from Idaho is suggesting. Regardless of the absurdity, make no mistake, the narrative of Ukraine crushing Russia is the pretext for sending these billions and billions of dollars over to Ukraine from you, from your own wallet, as the taxpayer who flips the bill for this stuff. So they've got to convince you that Ukraine is winning. That's the pretext. But the truth is coming out. The truth is Ukraine is not winning this. Ukraine is losing, and they're losing big. The New York Times is now reporting on the testimony of the U.S. National Intelligence Director, Avril Haines, who spoke before the Senate Armed Services Committee the other day. The testimony was actually rather stunning in terms of how starkly it demurred from the narrative peddled by the lamestream media. According to Haines, Vladimir Putin has not retreated from a single objective in Ukraine, not one. She affirmed that it is clear that Russia's goals in the war remain, quote, expansive, that Russia believes they are winning and achieving those objectives, that Russian forces are indeed successfully creating a land bridge across Ukraine's Black Sea coast, and that the objective at the present time is to encircle the Ukrainian army in the Donbass and basically crush it. And given what has just happened in the Russian capture of the eastern Ukrainian city of Popasnaya, That scenario of Russia crushing the eastern Ukrainian army is at the present moment highly probable. The formation that's known as the Russian Cauldron is indeed closing around tens of thousands of Ukrainian troops in the Donbass region as we speak. They are in point of fact trapped, and is the most likely scenario that they will indeed be decisively defeated, and that will most likely be absolutely decisive in how this war ends. Now, obviously, this picture does not comport with what we've been told on a 24/7 basis from both left-wing media as well as right-wing media, right? Both Fox and Newsmax have been pushing the same pathetic narrative as CNN and MSNBC. But more and more people are finding out that that narrative does not actually hold up to what's really happening. For example, it is beginning to be reported that the recent Ukrainian attempt to take back Snake Island in the Black Sea was a massive military failure, embarrassingly so. The important city of Kherson has fallen. It's even being reported that it's been converted to using the ruble as a national currency. And of course, the vital port city of Mariupol has fallen to the Russians as well. Again, to quell the Putin ass-kissing concerns here, this isn't to celebrate such developments on my part. It's to point out that the propaganda that we're being fed by the deep state media is beginning to implode. And with it, the eventual collapse of any remaining support to waste $40 billion of taxpayer monies on a fool's errand. Now, obviously, we'll see how things end up in Ukraine. And I hope you join me in daily praying for peace in that region. But however things ultimately turn out, I think it'll have virtually nothing to do with the narrative that we have been peddled by the legacy media. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on how woke protesters are showing up at Nancy Pelosi's house, all as a leftist civil war begins to break out. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on that link, and I will see you over there. God bless.